Hey everyone, I can't believe it's been such a long time since I put out the last update. Life has just kind of run away a little bit. So the last update, I just checked back and it was in September and it is now the end of March. So you'd like to think there'd be quite a lot of update and progress. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But just trying to take myself back to where we were at the end of September when I put out that update. I was heading into some refinement trays and the hope was that I might be able to have the implant placed over Christmas, so that the groundwork done for the implants. We've opened up that gap here and we're hoping that we were going to pop that in, the groundwork in there. So it turned out that basically there wasn't a big enough gap to put the implant in. So although the teeth are moving, the roots are still quite close together. So the teeth are kind of like far apart, but the roots are quite close together. So it just meant we couldn't do that over Christmas. And I had another lot of x-rays done in January. And it was the same thing there, that there's not enough root space to be able to put the metalwork in for the implant at the moment. So unfortunately, we have decided it probably will end up being fixed braces. So they have said it will probably be around 2 to 3 months of fixed braces, and they think it will just be on the top. So they have said that it won't be an additional charge for me. But I did kind of go back to them saying that I'm going to be maid of honour at my sister's wedding in mid-May, and I really don't want to have fixed braces then. Like, it's already like sad that I'm still going to be wearing the Invisalign, but I'd rather have Invisalign in than having to feel a bit self-conscious with fixed braces, even though they've offered the ceramic ones where you can barely see them and white wires or clear wires. I still would rather just hold out with Invisalign until end of May, June, and then kind of just give it my full everything to get the roots to where they need to be, so that I can finish the treatment, I can have the implant done, and hopefully have lovely teeth and forget about the last year and a bit. So yeah, things aren't exactly where I would want them to be as things stand, but they are progressing. And I think as well with the other issue that I've had is this, it's meant to have a pontic in it. So a pontic is just a tooth coloured or tooth colouring to the Invisalign. So they put in, I guess it's a little bit like a temporary filling, and they match it to your tooth colour. So it's meant to not look like a huge gap where it's opened up. And I think just before Christmas, I noticed that half the Invisalign box I had, or the last half of the box, didn't have any pontics in it. So it meant, like, all over Christmas not actually having that in there, because I just can't bother to go back over to the orthodontics just to have that put in. They would do it, but that was one issue. And then I picked up the next lot of the next box for the Invisalign, and again it started off absolutely fine, and I should have checked the end kind of packets straight away, but then I realised that only half of the box again had the pontics put in, and I was going away in February and I just didn't have time to go back over there and ask them to do the remaining half of them. So I was on holiday with like a clear gap in the Invisalign, so you can see it now because it is quite a big gap that we're left with. Making sure that's recorded. Yeah. I'll pop these out. There's not much else to comment on. I would say I still notice the list, especially now I'm like really self-conscious as I'm filming, so I still have a list that never went away. I have marked my kind of 1 year journey into Invisalign now. So I started last March and it's now the end of March 2024. I do still have the list. As a general rule of thumb, I don't have any pain. It's funny because these ones, I think they were meant to be just like placeholders, the ones that I'm wearing now. Like, they're not actually moving the teeth until I get the next lot of refinement trays in a couple of weeks that will take me up until the fixed braces. But I have noticed the last couple of days there is a little bit of soreness, but nothing too much. I'd definitely say like the first month or so for me was quite painful. The one thing I did have, I think it was just before Christmas, or maybe just after Christmas, for the first time ever, I had about 2 or 3 trays with a really sharp edge that I had to end up getting like a nail file to try and file it down, because it was actually cutting into my tongue and it was really, really painful. So even when I'd take the Invisalign out, my tongue would be so sore and swollen and cut that even just eating was painful. I'm quite lucky that that only happened for about 2 or 3 trays, almost like a year into my journey, because I have heard other people have suffered with that quite early on. And if you've got that as well as the generic soreness from your teeth moving around, that would probably be horrible. But yeah, I think I've had quite an easy ride of it, but unfortunately it just hasn't got to the stage where we wanted it to be. I think we were planning originally on finishing the treatment around June this year. So instead of finishing the treatment, we're actually going to be moving me on to fixed braces. So yeah, I'll update probably at the point where I've finished Invisalign and I'm moving on to the fixed braces, or if I get a positive update about the implant. So I will try and pop out another video, not too far before then, but I'll just pop these out. Okay, there's no elegant way of doing it, is there? So, right, so yeah, here. So they're definitely a lot straighter. You see the gap is a lot bigger now. The teeth are a lot more in the midline. We do still probably have to do a little bit of shaping and contouring, because this tooth in particular is quite big, and it is still tilted down a little bit. I had quite a big point on it, and when I went in January, he literally shaved off the point to as much as he could do, because what was happening was when I was eating, I was catching the point on my bottom tooth, and I was really scared that I was going to end up just chipping the tooth. And I don't think that was really meant to happen with my teeth. So it kind of, as they uncrossed and started straightening up, that tooth just tilted, yeah, down that way. And yeah, you can still see that it's angled. So this edge is a lot higher than this edge, but it was a lot worse. But yeah, I think they're fairly straight now, and they're fairly central. These are fine. I do notice if I don't put the Invisalign in, I have got a little bit lax since the holiday in mid-February in wearing the Invisalign for the full kind of 22 hours. So I have got a little bit lax, and I have noticed that these do shift quite quickly. Here you can see they're so much better than when I started. So it just goes to show that really do wear your Invisalign for as long as you're supposed to wear them every day, because if you take them out for a long period of time, your teeth will start moving back. Once my treatment is finished, I will have like a permanent brace, which is a bit of metal that runs behind both the top and bottom teeth, and that should help to keep them in place, but also you'll be wearing the night guard every single night. So hopefully if you do get any shift during the day, you pop in the night guard, it will just move the teeth back to where they're meant to be, and hopefully, fingers crossed, stay that way forever. So yeah, I've probably only got a couple more updates for you, and that will be the transition over to fixed braces, which is a kind of like a TBC. Probably going to go ahead with that, and the implant will be another update, and then I'll probably do one final update once everything is finished, including the whitening. I do think that although I use the whitening mouthwash, and I see the hygienist and I brush my teeth like 2-3 times a day, I still think that they do need whitening, especially once you've had all this work done. You may as well, it's free, they chuck it in. So yeah, so there's probably just about 3 more updates from me, but I will try not to leave it quite so long. But I hope if you've caught this video, you have found the update useful, especially for anyone who is perhaps looking at correcting a midline shift. So again, when I first started, I had this tooth, it was a big central tooth right in the middle, which made me really self-conscious about smiling and just public speaking and everything. And now they're a lot more central. I don't think, obviously now I'm self-conscious about this gap, but now they're much more central. I don't really feel self-conscious about that at all, so I can't wait to have this treatment finished. I definitely think it is the best thing for me to have decided to do, because in the long run it will correct a lot of issues such as the tooth grinding, probably tension headaches, and just generally keeping my dental and oral hygiene a lot better, because the teeth aren't crossing over, and it's just instilled some good habits as well. So I'm religious with my flossing now, and I have a membership with the dentist which has 2 annual checks and 2 annual hygienist appointments, whereas before I never saw the hygienist. I've probably seen the hygienist more in the last year than I have ever done in my entire life. And the dentist appointments, I only technically was meant to go once a year, but COVID happened. I kind of went probably 3 years without seeing a dentist, so it is good because it keeps up the regular checks as well. But yeah, hopefully you found it helpful, and I'll see you next time.